When it comes to who they let into their lives, Sigma males are very picky. They take a long time to let someone in or really trust them, and they want people who will stick with them and help them. It hurts when they are rejected. So, they analyze. They think about every detail and try to figure out what they could have done differently by going over the events over and over in their minds. They are trying to make sense of it and learn something from it. They want to find out what went wrong so that it doesn't happen again. In the end, they figure out what's going on and come to terms with it. The more they care about it, the longer it takes. So Sigma men will tell others not to let anyone in and to put a bubble around themselves and their hearts to protect them. They know that people don't always treat you the way you deserve, so they keep that from happening to them. This happens when someone they care about rejects them, or when they put money into something that didn't work out the way they wanted it to. It can be anything from a failed business deal to a bad breakup. No matter what, Sigma males need time and space after being rejected before they can move on. Due to their high levels of confidence, the idea of a Sigma male being rejected can be a little scary. However, these signs show that even though he may be upset for a few minutes, a Sigma male will quickly get over it and go on with his life. When they are rejected, Sigma men often react in different ways, depending on the situation and the person who turned them down. If this is done by someone they don't know well or aren't close to, Sigmas can usually get over it pretty quickly. They don't want to let people from the outside have a big effect on them or stop them from getting things done well. But Sigmas can be very different when it comes to their loved ones and people they trust. They don't mind when people disagree with them or try to change their minds, but it's a different story when their loved ones reject them in a real way. This can make them seem closed off to this person because they don't want to feel bad again. This doesn't mean they'll stop talking to that person forever, but they might feel distant for a while. They don't want to look like they are emotional, but it can be hard for them to really get past these feelings. When some people get angry after being rejected, Sigma males act more passively. Here are 8 things Sigma males do when they get turned down. 1. They hide their feelings. Sigma men usually keep their feelings to themselves and don't talk about them openly. This can make it hard for other people to know what they really think or feel about something. At the same time, this keeps them from getting hurt by feedback they don't want or like. They don't want to risk being rejected or criticized, so they keep their problems to themselves and deal with them when they're ready. This can make it hard for people to get to know Sigma men because they don't usually talk about what's really going on in their minds or hearts. But if you can get past their walls and connect with them, you'll feel a unique sense of closeness and trust that you don't get with other types. Keeping their feelings hidden can be both a blessing and a curse for Sigma males. It keeps them from feeling emotional pain and being vulnerable, but it can also make them seem distant and cut off from other people. People often have trouble understanding them, which can make them feel like they're not being understood. For Sigma men, being able to hide how they feel is both a strength and a weakness. It helps them avoid pain in some situations, but it also makes it hard for other people to really get to know them on a deeper level. 2. They start over, this time with even more drive. Sigma males don't give up easily when they get rejected, which is different from some other men. Instead of dwelling on what happened and feeling sorry for themselves, they use it to push themselves to try again. Even if the experience makes them feel defeated or down, they will push through those feelings and start working again toward their goals with more confidence and determination than before. Even though this may take some time, Sigma men are able to get up after being rejected and are ready for whatever comes next. This is when they feel very motivated and driven to succeed, especially if their rejection was caused by a setback in their efforts or career. This is when they are most likely to do what they need to do to get back on track and get past any problems. Most of the time, they like to do this alone and don't need the approval or help of others to move forward. This is when you don't hear from Sigma for a while, but then all of a sudden, he makes a big splash in his career or other endeavors, and you're blown away by what he's done. 3. Being rejected can set them free. Even though being rejected hurts, there can be something good that comes out of it. Rejection can actually help Sigma males get out of bad relationships or situations that are holding them back. They may have been in a bad relationship for too long or feel stuck in a job that isn't going anywhere. No matter why you were turned down, it can be a sign that you need to make some changes and move on to something new. For Sigma men, this is a good thing about being rejected. They understand that sometimes we have to let go in order to move on and make new opportunities for ourselves. Even though it can be scary and overwhelming at first, they can use the fact that they've been rejected before to push them forward. After a time of feeling hurt and let down, Sigma men are able to use the experience to change and grow. Rejection has the power to free people from things that no longer serve them or make them happy, whether it's in their personal or professional lives. And with this newfound freedom come new chances to be successful and try new things. This can be very freeing for Sigmas, letting them let go of things that were holding them back and letting them focus on what really matters. Maybe this is why they seem to get over being turned down so quickly and move on to what's next for them. Rejection can be a turning point in their lives that helps them break out of negative or unhappy cycles. This isn't easy, but it can be a necessary step on the way to more freedom and happiness. 4. They analyze every detail. Sigma males are known for being very logical, so when they get rejected, they will look at everything that happened to figure out what went wrong. They might think about what happened over and over again, trying to figure out what could have happened. Even though the rejection hurt and disappointed them, they are determined to figure out why it happened and learn from it so that it doesn't happen again. Many Sigma men are very goal-oriented and driven, so when they fail at something, they will take the time to think about what went wrong and figure out how to fix it. This might mean taking a step back from the situation and giving themselves some time to think about themselves and their actions so they can understand them better. They might spend hours or even days thinking about and rethinking the situation, but this is what they need to do to heal and move on. 5. They don't let their emotions overpower them. Sigma males tend to be very level-headed and rarely let their emotions overpower their rationality. Even when they are very upset, this can help them avoid making hasty decisions or taking unnecessary risks. For instance, let's say they have a big setback at work or in business. In that case, they can usually keep their cool and keep going instead of letting their feelings get the best of them. In the same way, they can keep their relationships healthy even if someone hurts their feelings or they don't agree with them, as long as they focus on finding a reasonable solution instead of acting out of anger or frustration. Sigma males are good at a lot of things, and being able to control their emotions is one of them. By being able to think clearly and keep their cool, they are often better able to make good decisions and handle tough situations. Even though it can be hard at times, this is an important part of who many Sigmas are. 6. They may become more introverted or reserved. Sigma males may become less outgoing and more shy as a way to deal with how they feel when someone they care about deeply rejects them. Instead of making friends and putting themselves out there, they may choose to do things alone, like read, run, listen to music, or just be by themselves. They may also become more reserved and quiet around the people they care about, preferring to spend time quietly by themselves rather than mingling with others at social events. This doesn't mean that Sigma males become unfriendly or stop talking to other people, but they may temporarily stop talking to other people so that they can come back stronger and more able to handle things. By taking some time for themselves and working through their emotions in solitude, they are able to process their feelings and regain their strength. This can be a good way for them to deal with their feelings and grow stronger and more sure of themselves. 7. Rejection will never define them. Sigma males may feel hurt and disappointed after being rejected, but they don't let it define who they are. They know that it is only a small part of who they are and doesn't say anything about their worth or value as people. They don't let it stop them from moving forward in life. Instead, they see it as a challenge they need to overcome. They see it as a chance to learn and grow, and as something that will make them stronger and more able to handle hard times in the long run. Sigma men are confident and usually don't care what other people say about them. Even if someone turns you down, that doesn't mean they're right. They don't want people who don't care about them to have any say in how they see themselves or how they live their lives. This lets them get over how they feel about being rejected and focus on what really matters to them. Even though this can be hard in the moment, it is a key part of what makes Sigma strong and resilient as people. While rejection is certainly a painful experience, they know it doesn't define them as people. Instead, they can use it as a chance to learn and grow, which will help them be successful in the long run. Whether they decide to try again in the same situation or move on to something completely different, they are strong and determined to reach their goals. 8. They are much more careful about the decisions they make. When Sigma males get turned down, they tend to be much more careful about who they choose in the future. Instead of taking chances or acting on impulse, they tend to think things through much more carefully and thoroughly before moving forward. This could mean that they need to spend more time researching their work or business options, or be more picky about who they let into their lives. Most of the time, they will become more aware of their own wants and needs. Sigma men are usually logical thinkers who carefully consider every choice they make before taking action. They may be afraid to take risks or act on impulse, preferring to think carefully about all the possible outcomes before deciding what to do. Because of this, they tend to be more careful when they talk to other people, which can make them seem cold or distant. But it also helps them make better decisions and avoid falling into the same traps that hurt them before. If a Sigma can get over being turned down in the past and get over his hesitation, he can become a very powerful and successful person. Even though the Sigma male is often seen as cold, distant, and hard to get to know, he actually wants to have deep connections with the people around him. This is especially true if you've been rejected or let down in a romantic or professional relationship before. Because of this need to connect, the Sigma male will usually become much more picky about new partners, friends, and business associates.